friends, Dave Paulides, CanAm Missing Project, copyrighted edition for our video channel. And this is Huck TV. Miss Huck is in the room, demanding patience, cooperation, and excellence. She's a good girl. Oh, she's a good girl. Oh, yes, a good girl. Oh, yeah, I know, that's a big yawn. And we're going to get right into it right here. This is another missing person segment, and we've got two very current cases for you. Before we get into it, people have been asking me a lot about the UFOs over the world lately. And I like to listen to the experts talk about it. At the beginning, I thought it was our government kind of flexing their muscles with some technology that we've had for years and just showing it off. But as it expanded out, I don't know. It would appear as though that the UFOs are being seen worldwide right now. Many different locations. And there's a lot of explanations of them changing appearance, one coming out of another. This is not our technology. This is something else. If the statements are true. And people have said, well, Dave, why haven't you talked about this? Well, I get a lot of complaints. What are you doing talking about UFOs? This is a missing persons area. Hold your taters. Have you seen that movie? Missing 411, the UFO Connection? Okay. Watch it free on Tubi. On my Twitter account, it's mostly you guys. So I would say, come on over, set up an account and join us. It's David Paulides, Paulides, at CanAm Missing. David Paulides at CanAm Missing. That's the Twitter X account version. I think I have 58,000 followers over there. I get a ton of talk all the time. Well, one thing I posted just recently was there was a report of a square cube in one of the UFO reports. If you watch that movie, you know I talked about a square cube being seen in Wyoming by a hunter on the ground. Yes. And then there was another account where there was a video submitted that I put up on my account where that triangle right there is being seen flown over an area. After the hunters who saw this in Idaho saw it, the next morning they went down, they called the Air Force Base and said, hey, is this yours? And if it wasn't theirs, why wouldn't they just say, yeah, it's not ours? But they said, we can't confirm and we can't deny. That caused them a lot of consternation because they wondered, why is this thing parked 100 feet over us in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, with nobody else around? Good question. What business does it have sneaking up on and keeping tabs of hunters in the middle of the woods, especially in areas where we know people have disappeared under very strange circumstances, and where we have a first-hand account of a hunter in Wyoming disappearing because of a UFO? Watch the movie. I think there's a lot of reasons why these people are disappearing. I don't think that there's any one reason that we can lay our hat on. But I will say this, it all has me seriously concerned. Another thing, I've mentioned to you in the past where somebody disappears with their dog. And the dog comes back. And I've said before, to me that means the person that they left with isn't around anymore. Isn't around, they're gone. That can mean a lot of things. Maybe they fell in a river. Maybe they got abducted. Maybe they got taken by a human. Who knows? But in my experience, when a dog comes back and isn't with their companion, something really bad happened. And here's something that I came across the other day in our research. November 5th, 1969, the Times Ledger said hunter found dead on farm. This is in northeast Pennsylvania. Albert Witkowski, 61, of Tunkhannock, missing since Monday when he went hunting, was found dead yesterday morning at 11:30 on a farm in Michopen Road 2. Wyoming County Coroner, I said this was Pennsylvania. Wyoming County Coroner Bryce Sheldon reported Witkowski died from a massive cerebral hemorrhage. Witkowski went hunting Monday at 8 in the woods near Lake Carey. He was accompanied by his dog. When he did not return at 6:45 Monday night, he was reported missing. State Police Sergeant Richard Roberts, commanding officer of the Tunkhannock substation, said a search was launched at that time and was halted at midnight. The search was resumed yesterday morning. Sergeant Roberts said Witkowski was found at 11:30 a.m. by a group of Tunkhannock area high school students who had been released from classes to aid in the search. The man's dog stayed with him during the time he was missing and ran up to the high school students when they approached the farm of Paul Wilson of Michopen Road, Lemon Township. The dog led the boys to the body. Police said Witkowski's body was found about a mile from the point where he entered the woods at Lake Carey, where he often went hunting. The point of this, that dog stayed with the master. As I think, if the master's there, dogs are going to stay with him. So, just an example of why I think the way I do. Now, let's get down to the stories. Both of them are recent. One of them very recent. Leo Dufour, 22 years old, went missing November 30th of this year. 20 days ago, 25 days ago. His hometown was Vaudreuil, Quebec. This guy was a hiking, backpacking, climbing fanatic. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He just loved it. And he made videos and slideshows about it all the time. He had hiked the Adirondack Mountains in the past, just south of where he lived. Now, on late November, he left home with the intent to hike Allen Mountain, New York, the 26th tallest mountain in New York. To hike it, it's an 18-mile round trip. Elevation about 4,370 feet with an elevation gain of 3,700 feet. So here's Allen Mountain, Mount Marcy. People have disappeared on Mount Marcy before, never found. Saranac Lake and Newcomb, New York. This whole area is filtered with missing people. Now, Leo told his family he'd start hiking on November 29th and he'd be off the mountain by the night of 11:30. That's really hucking and bucking in the woods. They said it's 8 hours and 51-minute round trip in the summer. Well, I think it's double that at least in the winter because snows can get so deep. Now, at 11 p.m. on November 30th, Leo's family called the New York Department of Natural Resources and reported their son is missing. Early that next day, New York Department of Natural Resources officers found Leo's vehicle at the trailhead to Allen Mountain. There was snow on the car, and they found tracks leading into the wilderness from the car. Leo signed in at the trailhead, logged his destination as the summit of the mountain. It was snowing on searchers when they arrived, and the entire time they were there, it was snowing. The first two rangers that got there called for additional assistance. The first rangers there walked up following the tracks, and soon they just dissipated out because of the heavy snow. But they knew where he was going, and they kept going as far as they could, and then they turned around and came back and got more help. They said that first day that snow was as deep as 4 feet when they were going in. That's brutal, folks. One thing you always, always, always do before you take a hike like this, you check the weather. If it says it's going to snow on you, you don't go. Snow brings slippery surfaces, ice, treacherous conditions, avalanche, etc. You don't go. December 2nd, the New York Department of Conservation requested 2 of their state helicopters with FLIR, and they got them. And they started ferrying searchers up to the mountain, which saved them probably 6 miles of hiking. And when they were near, some of the first group that went up, when they were near the summit, they thought they found a water bottle that might have been Leo's. They weren't confirmed that it was, but they thought it was. Well, they also knew Leo was carrying a cell phone and a charger. So they asked the FBI to check on the ping of the phones where the latest ping could have been. And the pings in those phones came back on November 29th at the bottom of the mountain. So they were fairly certain that Leo had summited and was probably on his way down. On December 3rd, the Rangers established 2 outposts on the way to the summit. One on the trail, one near the base of the mountain. They stated conditions were horrendous, freezing temperatures, blowing windy snow. They had to take the helicopters out of service for part of the time. Then, this thing just hit me in the heart. New York State Search and Rescue made a statement. There's Leo right there. Nice man. They stated that Leo had previously made a hiking video or slideshow. And he explained the importance of carrying certain things into the woods as safety devices. And one of them, he said, is that you should carry a Garmin satellite personal locator beacon. Officials followed that up by stating, the best of their knowledge, he was not carrying one. Friends, that hit me in my heart. It hurts. Leo knew the importance of that. Now, no beacon went off. So they don't have anything to follow. Searchers continue searching December 4th through December 8th. 59 rangers covered 400 miles of trails. Now, going to the summit, there isn't one defined trail, according to everything I read. Kind of meander your way up there. The chief ranger said that conditions have gotten too dangerous for the searchers, and they recommended that nobody go up there now, and they pulled off. They warned people not to search the mountain, not to go on the mountain. They said he hasn't been found, and they notified his parents. Very, very sad case. Now, they didn't say that I could find what type of phone he had. But as I've told you before, the new iPhones and several other phones have satellite technology that can hook up to a satellite and ping off it, ask for help, etc. Well, they did get some pings off the bottom of that mountain. This area of the Adirondacks has had many, many, many unusual disappearances. And I'd say about 20% are eventually found. I say that Leo may be found. The reason I say that is that this is a very popular hiking trail. And because there is no established route to the summit, people will scurry up all sides. And I think part of that screwing up all sides, if he slipped and fell, then they're going to find him in one of those gullies this summer. But it's hard to say. As smart as he was, as good of a hiker as he was, he knew the importance of that Garmin InReach satellite, and why didn't he take it? Very sad. Next case, different kind of case altogether. This man was 26 years old, 4 years older than Leo. Man's name was Roy Satoki. Both these guys were really good people. He went missing September 22nd of this year in McKinleyville, California. He was house sitting for an ex-girlfriend's mother's home on a place called Hiller Road. This is the wanted poster on Roy. And to say I know this area is a complete understatement. Kind of get a good look at Roy. Never had any problems with the law. Good person. Cared about his family. Was tight with his mom. Poster said he was 25. Other posters put out by the state said 26. Now, he had lived in Arcata, California. And Arcata is the one leading the investigation. He grew up in Redding, right in the middle of Northern California, in the up I-5. He attended Shasta High School, and he had a lot of friends in Butte and Shasta County. Now, Roy had a dog named Buck. He was recently laid off work per his Facebook account. Roy's mom, on September 22nd at 8:30 p.m., was sent a text by Roy. She didn't get the text until the morning of the 23rd. The text was made on Highway 96, north of Willow Creek. Willow Creek is the home of one of the largest Bigfoot museums in the world. Highway 96 from Willow Creek leads into Hoopa, where I spent 2 years. I know this area inside out and backwards. Many Bigfoot sightings seen between Willow Creek and Hoopa. Now, this is where Roy was house sitting. Hiller Road. This is Highway 299, weaves its way through the mountains, goes up to Highway 96. 96 goes north into Hoopa. This is Humboldt County up in here. This is Willow Creek. He made his phone call on Highway 96 north of Willow Creek. It takes about an hour to drive from point to point. It's about 40 miles. Nobody knows why Roy was on 96 north of Willow Creek. Nobody knows how he got from point to point. This isn't an area where you're going to hike. It's way too far. Now, this area, the other point about it that you just can't forget is it rains there all the time. Very lush, very green, very wet. Now, Roy sends this text. Mom doesn't get it till the morning of the 23rd. This is her statement about the text. She said, but it was an alarming text. Like, I don't want to go into details, but he was definitely reaching out. None of his family or friends have heard from him since. Whoa. You could read a lot into that. A lot. She followed that up by saying that no law enforcement agency did any searching. No effort. Okay, let's stop right there. I believe that's inexcusable. That's laziness. If somebody sent a text and they were reaching out and they were in need of help, why aren't we as people going out to try to help them? So that happened on September 23rd. Roy's mom went up to this area and searched for a month. Her and her friends on December 7th organized a family and friends search of the area where Roy was at. Highway 96, north of Willow Creek. Massive search. Everyone parked at the Bigfoot Museum in Willow Creek, divided the area up and went out to search. It was a massive effort. They found nothing. Let me explain something. That area between Willow Creek and Hoopa, it goes along, the road follows the Trinity River. It's absolutely gorgeous. I fished the Trinity before for steelhead and salmon. It's awesome. It's beautiful. It's clean. Now, that road, Highway 96, between Willow Creek and Hoopa, when I was there, I probably talked to 10 people that had a Bigfoot sighting on that road in the previous year. It's so common, it's ridiculous. Bigfoot crossing the road, Bigfoot staring behind a tree at traffic. All of these things were normal. And some people may say, oh, Dave, they were just lying to you. No. When I got to Hoopa, the first thing I did was I contacted the police department. I was a retired policeman, so I wanted to get in good with the police department, see if they could help me. And right away they did. They knew I wouldn't lie. They knew I was not there to make fun of the topic. I was there to do specific research. They introduced me to elders, and the elders were told to trust me, and they did. It broke down so many barriers that would have taken years to break down, that alone helped so much. So the stories I heard, the areas I was taken into areas on the reservation that even the people on the reservation were not allowed to go into. That is their area, that's what they would say. And a couple of chosen Native Americans escorted me in there. And it was freaky. It was freaky. I don't care what you say, it's freaky. I was freaked out. The entire time I was there, I was freaked out in that area. So 96, you leave Willow Creek, you go north, it goes right through the Hoopa Reservation. Hoopa's not a big city. It's got a gas station, grocery store, small hotel that I stayed in probably 50 times, police department. The Humboldt County Sheriff is the sheriff of the area around Hoopa. And the policemen in Hoopa are deputized Humboldt County Sheriffs. Willow Creek is a pretty good-sized little city. The area around that city, I was told from the day I got there to be careful. So every place I went, I carried a gun. Every place I went out there. And I was told by the policeman, hey Dave, even when we go up some of these dirt roads on calls, we've been shot at before. And what it's about illegal marijuana grows, illegal meth labs, etc. Let me tell you a story. Kind of the scary part of what I was up to. I was told to go to this one area along the Klamath River outside of Hoopa, but in another reservation. I was given a map, drive down this road, and meet this person, gave me another Native American's name. Well, I got there, and there was an old trailer that was completely horrible. Half the windows in it weren't viable, doors were broken off. But from what I could tell, there was a family living there. When I got there, there's a little 4 or 5-year-old girl walking around all this trash around this trailer. And I asked her, I said, is your mom or dad here? No. I said, well, is so-and-so here, the person I went to go see? No. I said, who are you here with? Nobody, I stay alone. I said, is somebody coming back? Yes. When? Near dark. Okay, now I want you to understand something. So I'm not a policeman. I'm just a nobody up there looking around in this area. I'm freaked out. This little girl is walking around this trailer in the woods where there's 600-pound bear, mountain lions everywhere, bobcats. I'm thinking, this is frickin' bizarre. Why am I put in this position? So I walk up to the highway. I get a cell and I call for the sheriff. About a half an hour later, the sheriff gets there. Super good guy. I said, you won't believe what I found. I explained who I was, and I explained that there's a little girl down here. I'm going to guess 4 or 5 years old. Nobody else is around. Unlivable conditions. You guys got to pull her out. And he goes, let's go. So we walked down there, and he did a masterful job of talking to the girl, and we both walked around. Unlivable conditions. You would not live in this mess. There was no food anywhere to be seen. This girl's unsupervised. You know, you think that we as a society are further along than this. We aren't. Disgusting. Long story short, the sheriff took the girl into protective custody. I don't know what their protocol is. I know they have a substation in Hoopa. I know their main station is on the coast. I don't know if you had to drive her all the way back to the coast to find a foster home or what, but it made me sad because I thought about that little girl. That was 14 years ago. She has to be 18 or 19 now. Did that girl ever have a chance in life? Just a chance. So, I can tell you I never found the man whose name I was given that supposedly lives somewhere around there. I actually didn't even feel comfortable going back after the deputy and I left. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there who are depressed. I get it all the time. I'm depressed sometimes. Come on. We all get that way. Huck's depressed. But we're all placed here for a reason. I don't care what you think. You are here for a reason. I look back on these events. I was put in that position for a reason. Was it to help that girl? I think so. And you know, when you're placed in those positions, you better do the right thing. You don't walk away and ignore it. You have to respond. You have to react. You have to show caring and love for others. Even though it's way out of your way, even though it may cost you time, effort, human life, above anything else, is the most important. And when that little girl needed me, you got to do it. So those are the two cases for today, folks. Roy Satoki, still missing. Willow Creek, Highway 96 north of Willow Creek. And Leo Dufour from the Adirondacks Mountains. Allen Mountain. I feel sorry for his parents. And Roy's parents too. So remember, we talk about kindness all the time. Kindness shows its way in a lot of different ways. The best time to be kind is when you're at your lowest point. When you are the most depressed you have been, you go out and you do something kind for somebody, and that's going to help you. It'll boost your own spirits. Get off your fanny, go volunteer, do something good for someone or something, and you will feel good. It's weird the way the world does that to us. Huck's saying, okay, Dad, you've done enough. Side eye. All right. She's looking at me going, oh, that was a big yawn. She's going, hey, Dad. Hey, are you ready to go? Say goodnight? Okay, Huck TV says goodnight. Thanks for being here. Paulides out.